everyone, Comic Reviewer here, and this time reviewing on Superboy the comic book, issue number 1. Now, as you know, this issue is meant to tell what happens before the events of season 1, where we see Clark and Lana going into college and how their lives get turned around. Now, the cover mainly has the actors who played Clark and Lana back in the 90s TV show, and kind of shows you what the story's going to be. The story starts off how Clark and Lana are stargazing, and they say, "I've never seen a meteor shower that brilliant. Must be some sort of astronomic disturbance." "Oh, who cares, Clark? Just make a wish." And so they see Pete Ross and one of their friends deciding to do drag racing, despite the fact that it's illegal. And Clark is like, "So much for a quiet end of a summer party. Oh, I hate this." And so Clark starts to hear that one of the racers, who's Pete, ends up with the brakes losing control, and Clark shows up just in time to stop him from plunging into the ocean. So they make it back, and they even talk about all the things that have happened to them, and we see that Clark is pretty much being stopped by his house, and he sees that his father's outside waiting for him, and he says, "If you still need me to work out on the farm, I can put off school until next year." "Don't be silly. Your Ma and I can take care of business by ourselves." And so they point out that, Clark needs to get to sleep anyway and that. And Clark pretty much looks on at the farm saying, I doubt I'll get much sleep anyway. And it's kind of like when you're excited about something to happen but can't go back to sleep. And so we see Clark and Lana pretty much at the bus stop and that. And we see Clark's parents giving him a little gift, which is obviously meant to be his costume and that. And they say, "Make me proud, son." "I will, Pa." And so we see them looking around at college, and Lana decides to undo her hair to make her the new her, but decides for Clark to keep the glasses on, because saying, "I doubt the world will need a new Clark Kent," and even did advise to make his hair longer. Yeah, kind of foreshadowing to the Doomsday Superman thing. And so we see TJ White, who is meant to be Perry White's son, saying, "Later, Dad, I gotta make the scene. Call you when I run out of money." "Great Caesar's ghost." "Yeah, Dad, I heard that before." And so he tries to hit on the girls, but to no luck. And Clark pretty much says goodbye to Lana, and he explains to a truck driver who's delivering a space rock to a university close by. And Clark's like, "Space rock?" And so we see Clark deciding to get all his stuff ready, until TJ White shows up, saying, "But call me TJ." And he points out, and pretty much Superman asks him, if he's meant to be the son of Perry White, in which he says he is. And he says he broke the ground, Paris, and all that stuff. But he says that, he's meant to follow his footsteps, but wants to follow the life of a musician and a comedian. And meanwhile, we see the lab team at the university working on the space rock until it goes off and takes away all the power. And meanwhile, we see Clark, Lana, and TJ getting signed up for their lessons until a power cut happens. And TJ's like, "Too cool! Preserve another hour to decide on classes." And so Clark hears on the radio about the nearby hospital running out of power and needing to try and keep the blood supply running. So Clark quickly sneaks in and uses his freezing breath to keep it all cool, until one of the nurses spots him but points out that he's here to see a friend. So we see Clark and Nat showing up to at the research center, where they point out is that they need to get rid of the rock quickly. But TJ and Lana get knocked out, and TJ gets taken to an ambulance, where Clark flies into his room to put on the Superboy costume, now knowing what his mum meant. And so we see one of the officers saying, "Holy cow! Professor, do you see what I see?" And they see Superboy flying in and rescuing two of the workers. And the professor points out that you need to go underneath it, and which he does. And with his advice about dropping it into sea, despite Clark not wanting to do it, but suddenly it becomes an energy-like substance that tells that Clark is not part of this world, and leaves off. And Clark's like, why did it say I am not from this Earth? So I know that during like some of the later comics, it was kind of established that not many people knew Clark's origin, and I know that in some of the Superboy continuity, as well on the TV show, they never did establish firsthand where Clark was really from. So we see Clark and Lana at basically school or college, and they point out about the whole Superboy thing, but Clark gives a knowing link, saying, "I think I like life at Snuffers is going to be a lot different than Smallville, and I think I'm going to like it that way." And this is the story. So, what do I think? Issue 1 is definitely interesting, and I could have seen it as a first episode. It introduces the characters, gives you a kind of potential pilot feel, which works well. In general, a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.